Alright, folks, hello and welcome back to Downstage Gaming. I'm your host, Josh, and this is part 19 of our B-Sides Let's Play of The Letter. When we last left off with Mr. Gunboy here, we got reunited with Rebecca and Zachary in Isabella's apartment. We sort of started gathering some evidence with them, but mostly it was just sort of a getting the gang back together bit. And we got freaked out that night, and now wake up on the 31st, I believe. I wish it... I'm pretty sure it's the 31st. Yeah, it definitely is. So we're on the sort of last day here. And Dreary Downpour starts off the Monday, and I'm pretty sure this can be skipped. Yes, we're finally at one point that on the branch here that is similar to things we've had before. My last shower was 24 hours ago. I haven't slept at all, and my last meal was a slice of cold pizza I bought from a convenience store the night I broke into BRC. And the way I am now, I'll definitely get a scolding. Isabella would, well, she would complain about how dark the bags under my eyes were getting, and about how I reek, and how I need to shower pronto. Rebecca will definitely give me an earful to tell me to take better care of myself, say that I'm killing myself on the job.
I can rest easy when this is all over.
I'll rest when I'm dead. Not necessarily a bad end. The chatter reaches my ears first, halting my movements. Sure enough, when I glance up, I find them, Zach and Rebecca, just as they've entered the park grounds, bags of convenience store food in hand. After last night's flight from Salamwell, we've decided to stay the night here, unsure if our homes will be safe. Normally, we'd all be adverse to the idea of jumping the night outside. What? I don't know where I got that. Normally, we'd all be adverse to the idea of spending the night outside like this, but panic and distress has tainted that decision. It's not like any of us have gotten an ounce of sleep anyway. On the off chance one of us did, it only lasted but a second, or it's a fitful one. But looking at them right now, from afar, it's easy to mistake them for just friends on a day out. Just a fun little picnic time. Zach's booming laughter echoes as he makes vague, wild gestures with his hands while talking. Something funny or amusing, probably, because it's soon followed by Rebecca's giggles. Their voices fill the atmosphere with light air, temporarily easing off the disheartening mood. It's easy to pretend we're not knee-deep in a life-and-death situation the way they're acting now. Easy to forget one of us is still fighting for her life, desperately holding on to it because she can be quite stubborn like that. If anything, it's only their appearance that betrays that mask. Slightly disheveled, bags under their eyes, an exhausted curve in their shoulders, and dragging footsteps. But the closer they get, the more obvious these signs are to the naked eye. Zach tosses an energy drink my way the moment the distance allows it. Rebecca hands me the other bag she's holding before seating herself on a bench nearby. The scent of warm food immediately wafts from the bag when I open it, carried further by a passing breeze. Whatever sweet sauce they drizzle over this pork wanabe, it smells heavenly. Hell, even the sorry-looking vegetables seem appetizing. Have we seen this? Yep. Both of them appear to be of the same mind, too. Soon enough, they also start with theirs. No casual talk while we fill our empty stomachs. Exhausted as we all are, food is something we can't forego. Starvation dulls the thinking, weakens the body. If we're to survive this, we're gonna have to take care of ourselves first. Isabella would never let me hear the end of it if she was here, though perhaps it is for the better that she isn't here to see us. Knowing her, she'll worry, despite what goes unsaid between us. In a matter of minutes, we're done, and dumping the empty carrots in a nearby waistbin. Along with it is the shift in the mood. Back to Dismal. Back to the problem at hand. The comfortable atmosphere from minutes ago was nice while it lasted, and admittedly, I've missed these kinds of moments between us. We've never had the chance, always busy on some project or work, things we've taken for granted, now we're realizing how valuable they are. With one of us absent, the world has an awful sense of humor. While the one we've just had is short-lived, it's another thing I want to look forward to, if we ever free ourselves from this damn curse. I'd like to believe there's a way. For now, we have to focus back on the present. This. Dead people. I see dead people. The letter. The curse. It's not simple to bring these up, but necessary.
Where to now?
It's not a question directed at anyone in particular, but they both look to me as if my face has all the answers in the world. I used to think so, back when I was at the top of my game and still sure of everything. When were you at the top of your game, Ash? Now there's just uncertainty sullying whatever decision I come up with. At some point, logic has simply stopped working here, and we've started grasping at straws. Along with exhaustion, fatigue, and stress, we have enough kindling to get a fire burning. The not-so-pleasant kind of fire. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, because last time we had a sort of argument with Isabella here. So I wonder if there's always something unpleasant that happens in this moment.
We can't stay here. We'd be sitting ducks if we remain in one place.
All right, so we just keep running like this?
We don't really have a choice, Rebecca. We can't even go back to our own homes.
I can't even trust you
No
two.
matter where we go or hide, she's gonna get us.
It still doesn't change anything. You just said it. Nowhere's safe. But dying is the last thing I want to do right now, Zach. Not to a stupid chain letter. Someone was too gullible to pick up and show everyone.
Oh, come on,
Don't
Becca.
you think it's a bit too late to start laying the blame on someone else?
Yeah.
It's not even helping at this point.
Come on, Becca.
Who said anything about blaming anyone? Do you really think I don't blame myself for this as well?
It's not helpful regardless.
Isabella warned all of us. In the first place, we wouldn't even be having this problem if you'd only—
Oh, shut up, Becca.
You two cut it out! This ain't the place for I don't know, petty
For your
squabbles.
two's complete bullshit.
Oh, let her say it, Z-Man. Nothing has stopped her from saying what she wants before.
Wow.
Knowing her, I'm pretty sure she has loads of things to say about this.
Let it out.
If you don't want to get caught in it, then stay out of this, Zachary.
And leave it to the two of you to hash it out here?
Zach, you don't have to.
You really want that? Really? Cause I'm quite sure this ain't gonna turn out pretty whether or not I stay here.
Oh, man.
Because every single time, the two of you get into an argument, even before, I have to be the one keeping this
Wow.
friendship intact.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
honestly getting tired of this. For once, can't you two hold a conversation without fighting when things don't go your way?
I got chills.
Then go ahead, leave. No one's telling you to stay. This is just like your movie.
Whoa.
Oh,
Jesus.
this and that are two different things, Rebecca. And you know what? Right now, I'd rather see my movie flop twice over than go through this.
All right, that's enough. Both of you, stop this.
Meanwhile, everyone else in the park is like, what the hell is going on? They both falter to silence at my words, and an awkward, stifling mood descends between the three of us. I do not mean to shout, to snap at them, to add to that kindling. Not in a moment when anytime, anywhere, she might get to one of us. We're all in the same boat, yet here we are, playing the blame game. Little by little, we're falling apart, caving into the pressure, to the bleak situation we're trapped in. Did that ghost mean for this to happen? To divide each of us so she could pick us off one after another? Who knows? Anything's possible now if her kind can exist. With the fire burning between us rising as high as it does now, I'm afraid, deathly afraid, that the possibility might come sooner than I can figure all this out. Fuck, I still can't think straight. I can't even believe the next words coming out of my own mouth, that out of everyone, I have to be the one saying these to them. This is more their forte than mine, keeping the peace, placating everyone while I unintentionally aggravate people with badly chosen words. Funny how fast the tables have been turned after just one unfortunate incident. How am I even supposed to cope?
If we all want to get out of this mess in one piece, we're gonna have to cool our heads first.
I still can't believe what Zachary said. Like, you can tell that's been burning a fire in his soul for quite some time. Before my own temper flares, I walk away and slide back into my car. If the door slams with more force than needed, I'd like to blame it on the pent-up anger boiling up in me. Not even sure what or who I'm angry at. The ghost, at them, or maybe at myself for being this useless. Because despite none of them saying it, I know, goddammit, they're still counting on me. In spite of my failures, or every harsh word I've uttered, or how unbearable I can be as a friend. It's there when the tension after the argument finally breaks, and one after another they follow me and get in the car. It's in concerned glances they shoot my way when I start the engine without a word and drive off. It's in their silence, a heavy gift, their unwavering trust. Yet, it's one I'm more than willing to carry, even through my own exhaustion, if only to keep them safe. In this city of 68,000 strangers, they're the only ones I have left. Oh, in all seriousness, a good rest is still our best bet for now. I feel like there's often some weird tonal shifts from scene to scene here. Alright, so where are we at now? Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we've made it back to here. Okay. So let's see here. So we get to the bar. Especially if my assumption's correct, and the reason Zack was there yesterday morning was because of the curse. Something must have happened there for him to see the need to visit the place that morning. What if the couple has fallen victim to the curse too? Doesn't fall outside the realm of possibility. I've been so biased, not even thinking that they might be in danger as well. But during the open house with Isabella, they might have seen the letter and... Fuck.
Stupid, stupid, stupid. Some fucking detective I am.
More like Ace Defective. That's likely the moment when Cooper saw it. If the logic holds, I need to hurry there right away. And if there are answers anywhere, it would be there. It should be there, where all this fucking mess started. It's not only my life on the line here, there are others. What happened to us, I won't wish on anyone else, no matter how much I loathe them, or how complicated all this has suddenly become. The letter, the woman, the mansion. There's always a letter, a woman, and a mansion. Alright, so we talk with G for a while, try to get some advice there. We tell him
trying to drink your worries away, like last time. That was screwed up.
But G doesn't believe our story
This
here.
one, screwed up? Not by a mile. It's too early to say. You've still got several years ahead of you, Holmes. Take it easy. But some things change, eh? It has been years, and you were a kid back then. You know, the sort that's a bit unsure. Making all the horrible decisions in life he'd eventually be embarrassed to talk about.
You never stop calling me kid, though.
Well, you still are. It's just that this time, you're sure of who that badge and gun is for. What was it you police types usually say? To protect and serve, yeah?
A significant pause follows at its heels. From both of us, as he allows its meaning to sink in and spur something in me, stirring a feeling both heavy and forceful, but not completely unwelcome. Familiar. Though before I can even clarify what he's trying to imply or gather my thoughts on the matter, G turns away to begin his work on the silverwares. Okay. So when it all ends with a loud shuffling of foot from the adjacent... What? So when it all ends with a loud shuffling of foot from the adjacent hallway, a sigh is all that leaves me. Okay. There's no need for me to look up to know who it is. Zack's treads alone are telling. There's always a weighted set to them. Steps that are taken with a lazy cadence. Like he's always trying to make himself smaller, less conspicuous than he actually is. In a place he's unfamiliar with, he also tends to linger, stand awkwardly at the sides as if he's all too afraid to break something. That, or he's waiting for permission of some kind. Either way, he's never been the kind to barrel headfirst into things or forego courtesy, despite appearances. Much like how Rebecca's mother Henning belies her fiery temperament, or Isabella's rare displays of maturity appears at odds with her youth. There has been a lot of those in my life, it seems. More so for the people I've grown closer to over the years. It's almost as though, Ash, that people are complicated. That nobody is just a 2D character. Walking contradictions we all are. It's a wonder how we ended up as friends in the first place. But maybe that's also exactly why. To some extent, there's still an understanding in there, in knowing that no matter how long you've been together, or how familiar you are with a person's habits, or how many lifetimes there might be for all of you, one can never fully know a person. Sometimes it works because they merely chose to stay. Sometimes it's as simple as someone extending a hand first for an apology, regardless of every hurtful word said.
Hey, Ash?
This time I glance at him, briefly, gauging the mood. Not because reconciliation's an issue for me, between us it never will be, but somehow this is another thing I'm all too afraid to see crumble in front of me. One wrong word, if this is going to end in another argument, we might as well stop as early as now. There's another long pause from him, during which he can't seem to figure out what to do with his hand. In the end, he chooses to stuff both into his pockets and trains his eyes at the now empty space behind the counter. Without our notice, G has slipped back to the kitchen, leaving only the two of us and everything awkward in the world at the moment. Still, Zack trudges on, a hopeful tone slipping into his voice simply because it's the only thing he knows to do.
Did you, get any sleep?
Oh, absolutely not. It's a start, at least. A stiff one, but a start. The least I can offer in return is that rare honesty.
For a few hours, yeah.
Curt, brusque, not an ounce of friendliness in it. In spite of it, Zack takes it as a sign. Relief washes over him as his shoulders relax and he releases a tense breath. Soon, he's closing the distance he has put between us and flops onto the chair to my
I
right.
think the better question is if the dreams are pleasant. And for the record, no.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I get
I
those.
think you have a longer history of that. He shifts in his seat, coughs, drums his fingers on the counter for a short while, then falls silent. That's it. No apologies. Somehow, that short exchange is all we need. The air changes again, much like everything we've known lately. Maybe not for the better, not yet. However, it's less suffocating, with less hostility and resentment. The kind where it's easy to pretend, easy to forget. Not that it's a thing that'll happen anytime soon, but one can dream. In a situation where death might come knocking at any time, it's these little hopes we cling to. It's these little things we wish will happen again. I'm not an optimistic person by nature. Hopeful, maybe, but never optimistic. Though I want to believe there's a way we'll live through this nightmare, for the sake of the one we've almost lost. If I can help it, I don't want her to wake up to this nightmare. It'll only break her. She'll blame herself. It's just funny how it took all of this to spur these kinds of thoughts in me. Can't even remember the last time something like it has occurred to me. For some reason, after seeing one harrowing thing after another, I've simply forgotten.
Why are you suddenly smiling like that?
Is it a crime to be happy, Zach?
Oh, no, I was just thinking about something.
Well, it better be something that'll get us out of this mess.
What makes you think I know how to fix this? Until 2 days ago, I didn't even believe a word you guys have been telling me. Zach, I function better when I'm dealing with homicide cases. Hell, feel free to throw in the usual robbery and missing persons case into the mix. I don't care. Give me a few days and I'll give you a lead. This isn't how I operate. This isn't what I'm good at. For all you know, I might even end up getting us killed. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, the fact that you're frustrated but still trying already means something, Ash. Besides, you don't make that face unless you already have an idea.
It's the idea face.
It can't be any worse than this. Maybe. What's on your mind, Ash?
There really is something about Z-Man. Between Rebecca and him, I tend to share with him things I won't normally say to the other. Unlike her, who pushes, sometimes with the same tenacity as her moods, Zach has this strange tendency to ease people into telling him what he wants to know. Oftentimes, the question feels so subtle, it catches me off guard, with less force and more forbearance. After all, out of everyone, he's the most grounded. Really, he's like the older brother I never had, the kind you can depend on when things go sour. The kind you tell things to simply because he'll listen, without forcing his own opinions on you.
We still have one more lead we haven't checked. I'm gonna look into it tonight.
Doesn't take him long to put two and two together, and his calm expression abruptly dissolves to worry the second he realizes what I meant. We've already examined the letter, read through piles of documents. There's really only one we haven't given a once-over. The mansion. Of course, Zach may not be the kind to push, but that doesn't mean he agrees with everything that comes out of my mouth. It's his way of keeping me steady and on my feet through the years.
Hold on, didn't you tell me not to go in there?
Exactly!
Whatever happened to stay away from Luke Wright?
Yeah, let's address this hypocrisy, Ash.
You're an unarmed civilian, Zach.
I'm a badass.
And so?
So, I want you to stay here and keep yourself safe. I probably won't take too long, but I don't know what might happen. I'm not even sure if I'll find something in there. G will keep an eye on you guys. If you need anything, that woman shows up, just holler. He'll help out, no questions asked. You don't even need to explain anything.
He's not willing to concede. Not from the manner he grips his knees or the rigid set to his
I'm
jaw.
going with you. You can't go in there alone, Ash. I heard something. The morning I was there, I heard someone scream and then there was a woman crying, and I don't know what's going on inside that mansion, but I am telling you, you shouldn't face whatever's inside alone.
Before I can stop myself, a heavy breath escapes from my mouth. It's one of those times again where Zach means well, but he's completely missing the point I'm trying to make. When things take a turn for this, when he gets in a mood like this, he's almost as headstrong as Isabella. How and where do I even start? Well, I'm not gonna say you'll only get in the way. I feel like this game only has two kinds of choices ever. There's one that's like, man, both of these seem like either equally good or equally bad responses, or they're like this, where it's like, well, that's obviously a terrible thing to say, and this is obviously like the positive one. I'd feel better if I don't have to worry about you. There are only two ways this will end. Zach being happier with us, or not. I agree with him and take him with me, or I agree with him and drop the idea altogether. Neither appeals more than the other, especially when we're all desperate for answers and a way out. If all it'll take is a little more honesty to make him drop this harebrained idea, so
Look,
be it.
man. Bro. Z-Man. Zach.
My
Zachary,
buddy.
Listen.
My brother. My lover. My best man. The guy that I love more than anyone. Listen.
I know you only want to help,
Like hell. This ain't just about
Whoa.
helping, Ashton.
Whoa.
You're throwing yourself in the thick of it
Ah!
on your own.
We're in a bar, Zach. Come on.
Was your fall last night really that bad? Did you hit your head hard? I honestly can't tell if you've gone stupid or just plain suicidal.
Maybe a little of
My
both.
head's okay, Zach. But it won't stay that way if we don't do anything about this. Someone has to.
Seriously, this is already a desperate move. The longer we dally, the faster we're losing our options. Do we even have one? Looking back at it, this whole business with a ghost seems perfectly set up to drive us into a corner. Either until we lose our mind or she gets us. It's starting to feel as if there isn't an escape. We've already become her playthings the second Isabella found that letter. That our lives are in her hands ticks me off big time, but the idea of watching the people I care about die helplessly, more so. They're much safer here than with me. It's a selfish thought, I know, but born out of fear. So, in case things go awry, the very last thing I want to happen is for Zach to take the fall with me. I've already made enough mistakes.
And that means it's just you.
Just me.
Suddenly, he clams up. Although his actions, the restless shift in his shoulders, his mouth pressing close in a tight line, and how he starts off again in a quiet note, it all gives away his real thoughts, long before 2 words have even made it out of his mouth.
I'm sure you already know about this. This won't really bring her back. Maybe this is you trying to make amends, or whatever. I don't know. You're making your own decisions here. But if something happens to you, it'll be just that. You'll just be another dead body out there. Please, don't do something like this.
Don't worry. I'm not stupid enough to get myself killed. I just want things to go back to normal, Zach.
Don't we all, Ash? Another dead air follows at the heels of that one admission. The meaning of my words, too heavy, too striking, it stuns us into another lull. Optimism aside, we're both aware that it's impossible. We're going to have to deal with the trauma right after. There will be the images, the voices whispering inside our heads, the foreboding feeling, the stench of blood, gore, and death trailing after us. We may survive this, but those things, they will remain in us for a long time. One does not survive something like this without it leaving something in you. Just the mere thought of what might come right after makes me dread it. What this has changed in all of us. But I suppose that outcome is more acceptable. The lesser of 2 evils.
3 hours.
My head snaps up and I turn to him, puzzled. He's staring at his hands with a thoughtful expression, brows furrowed in a deep concentration. Like he's trying to choose the right words to convey what he's about to say.
3 hours? For what?
That's more than enough time to go there, to check things, like you said, and travel back here. If you don't show up here beyond that, I'm going after you.
From his tone, it sounds almost like a warning. I'm sure it's not his intention. But hearing something like that from a person like Zach, I can't help but chuckle and throw in a jibe, despite how dire things are. Just like the old times.
Make that 4.
Just like the old death pacts me and Zach used to make.
What? You said you're just gonna check things. Why would you even need that long?
Speed limit? I'm a ranked law enforcement officer, Zach. I'm supposed to set an example.
I so wanna punch you right now.
Of course, Zach never carries it out. In light moments like this, it's just how he is, how we are. Unfortunately, G chooses the next moment to show up. He slams the flat of his palm on the counter, shooting us both a stern look. Although his tone's nothing short of jovial, the disapproval is clear in it. He's obviously misunderstanding the situation.
Boys, drummer's nice and all. I used to watch these bloody god-awful afternoon serials with one of my brothers many, many years ago. But listen, I am not having one in my pub, all right?
If you want to have character development, get the hell out of my bar.
You two want to fight? Go out.
A pregnant pause. Then, without any preamble, Zach and I are both snickering, and G's glower melts into confusion. When we both show no sign of stopping, he simply shakes his head and turns away. I'd like to think it's better this way. Better that we part on light terms, so Zach would have to see every little insecurity, every little doubt in me right now. He's seen enough. The last thing I want him to glimpse is another display of weakness. Not when he still stares at me with the same unerring confidence in his eyes. When our mirth dies down, before anything can be said further, before I change my mind, I step away from them, giving Zach's shoulder a few quick pats, a little shoulder rub, maybe a bit of a back massage, mumbling a lame excuse about taking another short nap under my breath, altogether burying the stray thought that flashes fleetingly in my head. Zack has seen me at my lowest plenty of times. Why does all of it matter now? The sun hangs lower when I stumble back into consciousness and drag myself downstairs. Around this time, the patrons usually start to trickle into the main lounge until it reaches a peak around midnight. Today, however, it remains thin. But considering what day it isn't too worrisome for the kind of business G runs. He has always complained about the lack of a decent crowd on week start, although he doesn't really begrudge his customers for it. No one wants to start the week with a bad case of a hangover, after all, even him. Which makes the concerned look he gives me come off a bit too odd. With the kind of danger we're in, this swiftly puts me on edge even before sleep completely fades from my mind.
Something wrong, G?
G hums, but there's an undertone of annoyance in it, despite his casual and open movements. And only after he finishes wiping a tumbler and carefully settles it face down on the table does he give me an answer. The way he stares back at me honestly makes me squirm. Feels like I'm being stared down by my primary school teacher for sleeping in class again.
Nothing much. Monday's still a slow day for this place. But you, might want to check on your friends, kid. Looks like one of them woke up on the wrong side of the bed while you were out.
Another question forms in my head along with a small, confused frown. Though before a single syllable slips past my mouth, he gestures his head on the far side of the pub's main lounge. In a corner, Rebecca paces in deep thought with a scowl on her face. From the looks of it, it appears woke up on the wrong side of the bed is a complete understatement. In fact, I think she might hit the next person who tests her temper. Turns out sleep isn't just what some of us need. Even G appears to understand it. In spite of his effort to look as unconcerned as possible, there's a tense set on his shoulders. A nervous edge lingers in his eyes as it occasionally flickers over Rebecca. He doesn't want to deal with this, especially at the start of another busy week. Neither do I. Rebecca's moods can be quite volatile. But the imploring gaze G directs at me leaves me with no other choice. It almost feels like he's guilting me into doing something about it. I hate that it's working.
You know how I run this pub, kid. No fist fights, no cat fights, no people in sullen moods, only good booze, bad puns, and off-key singing.
If you aren't happy, you don't belong here.
Go fix it before it turns into something chaotic.
It's probably not as petty if Rebecca is already in that state, but I give him a nod nevertheless.
Sorry about this, G.
He hums something under his breath for an answer and waves me off, turning away and returning to his work without another word. Even with the lack of a sizable crowd, he likes to keep busy. We're the same in that regard. Can't remain still, always has to stay moving, doing something, thinking, whatever keeps the brain at work. I leave him to it shortly after. Part of me wants to thank him for all the trouble he has taken for people he barely even knows. Once this is over, I should probably find some way. Get him a Starbucks gift card or something. Zarbucks? Did I make that joke last time? I might have. In the meantime, I have this immediate problem to fix. Gotta get to this before it turns into a shitstorm. The area of the pub she's in is almost deserted. I'm willing to bet my entire life savings that people are staying away only because of the brewing storm. Rebecca can have quite the mood when she's crossed. Whatever pissed her off this time, the way she's glaring at the wall already says everything. Before I can approach and intervene, though, Rebecca soon slumps on the chair. I wonder if we're finally gonna get a sort of confession here. Gingerly, she reaches up to press the bridge of her nose and breathing out a ragged exhale. She only looks like this when stress has drained both her patience and energy, usually more than her rowdy students do, despite being no stranger to it. In the quietness of the room, I find myself drifting towards her and taking the empty seat next to her. Shortly, she leans her shoulders to mine, like she used to all those years ago. Back when all that mattered to us were grades and what kind of trouble we'll get into the next weekend. No curse, no letter, no ghosts. Just us and whenever our imagination will take us.
How are you holding up?
Barely, but I'll be fine. It's probably just this curse thing getting to me.
That bad, huh?
She makes a face, having been caught in her lie before allowing a small smile to replace it.
Excuse me, you're stuck in this nightmare too.
At least you're not shouting at anyone. That's something you don't see every day. I think you scared G for a bit there.
I just can't wait for this whole thing to be over. That way we can go back to how everything used to be.
You know that's impossible.
A truth. And we both falter into silence in the face of it. Her mouth opens briefly, and I assume she's about to argue her opinion about it. Maybe say something contrary to it. But eventually she simply nods, breathes out, and relaxes her rigid posture. A rare occurrence when she almost always has something on her mind. Seeing it, a smile spreads across my face, knowing, and perhaps a little pleased. It's one thing to know of change. Watching it play out in front of me is an entirely different matter. In that one exchange, I've caught a short, clear glimpse of what has shifted, of what's inevitable. So much has changed throughout the years, we will never be the same person we once were. And perhaps it's for the better. Rebecca notices soon enough, like she always did. Whatever she sees in my face startles her, causing her to jerk away.
Why are you staring at me like that?
Nothing. Don't mind me.
I know that look, Ashton Frey. That's definitely not a nothing. You wouldn't be wearing that expression if you didn't have something on your mind.
Really? It's nothing. It's just that when we were kids, you weren't really the kind of person who spoke her mind. Someone else always had to stand up for you. You've changed a lot, Becca.
What did you expect? It's been, what, 17, 18 years?
I mean, it'd be ridiculous to have the same kind of feelings about someone for that many years. Wait, is that what we're talking about? Sorry.
What I'm trying to say is, I think I like this version of you more.
A beat.
Except when you're mad, and you're yelling, and you're glaring daggers at everyone. You're pretty scary, you know.
Well, don't say that so casually. Also, if you're just going to complain, you might as well just end this talk right now.
See what I mean? Even Z-Man's scared of you. I'd bet my entire salary on it.
She swats at my arm. The gesture light and familiar. It causes us both to burst into peals of laughter afterwards. When was the last time we shared something like this? I can't even remember. It's nice, though, to have another conversation like this, to sit side by side, simply enjoying each other's company. I'm not very fond of looking back to the past. Most of it means having to remember unpleasant things for me, but sometimes, coiled around the bad, there are good ones. And Rebecca's there for the most of it. Things may change, but her friendship is the one thing I will hold dear. We may meet new people throughout our lives, but that doesn't mean I will care for her any less. Which makes this whole business with the letter even more urgent. I still have one lead. With what's at stake, I can't let this curse win, if such a thing even makes sense when dealing with the supernatural. Tonight, by any means, I need to go back to that accursed place, alone, because who knows what we might find in there. Whether or not the rest of them agree with this plan is inconsequential. Their well-being is my top priority, and I'm not just about to drag them in there with me. My apprehension must have been quite obvious in my face. In a sudden motion, Rebecca reaches out and taps my arm. Although she does it gently, it startles me, nevertheless, and it's enough to put a worried look on her. For a moment, she studies my face, eyes scrutinizing, searching. But before I can avert my gaze, keep her from getting a read on me, she straightens, her worry abruptly fading into a look of disapproval.
You have a plan in mind, don't you?
It's a simple yes or no question, I can easily lie, yet her tone completely belies everything her words mean. I may as well tell her everything. When all is said and done, she's still one of the few people I trust. However, every vein in my body knows she'll be the first one to disagree, put her foot down, and stop me. And when she does, who else will be left to fix this? Zach? Her? I do understand her concerns, but there are times when they are misplaced. This complication isn't what I need at the moment. But what am I supposed to say? What is she expecting to hear from me? What answer will satisfy her? She certainly appears like she's hoping for more than a yes or no for an answer I can't give at the moment. What else, then? Well, I don't think keeping her in the dark is a good idea. Let's offer a vague answer. It's close to the truth as we can get. Yeah. A vague answer. That's all I can offer, and hopefully this will be enough. It's not an outright lie, but that though, I assume that thought, doesn't make me feel any less awful about this. It's worse when you know she's asking only because she's worried. Part of me wants to tell her it'd been exactly what I'm planning tonight. What good will it do, though? I've already told Zach, one person is enough. Can't let too many people know the truth. Hell, simply letting someone in on the plan makes me iffy. Broadening that circle and revealing too much would just cause another pointless concern. That's such a weird way to think about this. But someone has to be aware, at least to where I'm heading off to, in case things don't pan out. Expect the worst, even if I've only intended to do a quick survey of the place. Just do a couple of measurements. In my own words, risky. Rebecca doesn't need to know the kind of danger I might be throwing myself into tonight. She should prioritize herself and her own safety first, before others. Yes, because she definitely cares more about herself than other people. But it's never that easy with her, is it?
Am I allowed to ask questions this time?
You're asking one right now, aren't you?
It's a serious question, Ashton. Yes or no?
You can, but I can't promise I'll answer them.
That's a nice way of saying no. You might as well just tell me to shut up.
You know I don't mean it like that.
Is there something I can do at least?
For an instant, I hesitate, pausing, fumbling for an answer. It's more difficult with her because all this time she still looks to me as if I'm the same kid from years ago, who she depended on when she has yet to find herself, who she turned to for answers despite my lack of them. It makes me all the more afraid to fuck up this time. And in case I do, she's the last person I want to be with me. Getting her into trouble, getting her killed is not how I want to repay the friendship she has so generously offered after all these years. My friends are not supposed to be the ones taking the repercussions of my mistakes. Those are my own doing, of my own responsibility. A fear, a heavy weight on my shoulders they shouldn't be dragged into carrying. However, if there's one thing I can trust her with...
Stay safe. Keep Z-Man safe. Watch over him while I'm out there. Make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. You're good with that kind of stuff.
I'm a high school teacher, Ash. Not anyone's babysitter.
A grimace is on her face, but I know she'll do it, even without me asking for it. She cares more than anyone, more than what her fiery temper expresses. And it eases something in me, knowing that Zack will have someone like her here. Sure enough, after a stretch of silence, she eventually nods. She does not entirely agree with this, it's in the distant look on her face, but she's willing to trust me on this. For now, that's enough. Either way, it's best that we simply leave things here for now. There's already an understanding, albeit something we both don't agree with, no need to push it further. With a light, reassuring squeeze on her shoulder, I stand up. At the same time, footsteps shuffle from the pub's entrance, and cheerful chatter suddenly fills the room as a group of people enters. It's all the distraction I need. Muttering an excuse and flashing Rebecca a quick smile, I beat a hasty exit out of the main lounge and leave her on her own, despite the troubled look she shoots me. Cuties. But before Rebecca can say what's on her mind, before the last frustrated glare she directs my way forces me to change my mind. It's another lasting image that firmly etches itself in my memory, one that spurs the conscience, among other things. I just hope I won't regret what I've chosen for myself tonight. I'm sorry to say I think you might, Ash, knowing where some of this is going. Alright, but we finished our goodbyes here for now, and we're just about to head to the mansion. So that is where we're going to have to leave things off for today, but I am looking forward to next time. Until then, this has been Downstage Gaming. I've been your host, Josh, and I will catch you all next time.